I think the people here, generally speaking, are very, very special. There's just a special atmosphere here, starting with the management to the staff, to the tenants. It's just a very warm, nurturing atmosphere. I mean,
Hi, I'm Agnes Stawicki, Managing Editor with Comfort Life. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading retirement communities and care providers to uncover insights to community lifestyle, care, culture, and leadership. This includes insights from residents, family members, and administration. This is the Comfort Life Insider Perspective.
there aren't enough good things I can say about living here. It's a fabulous community. The buildings are well kept. The staff is very, very friendly. Anytime you have a problem, all you have to do is pick up the phone and somebody shows up to help you to do whatever. The tenants are extremely friendly. We have a joke going that they screen the people who come to rent and only allow nice people to rent here because everybody is very nice. So, and a lot of people have been here for a long time, but even for new people, there seems to be a very warm, welcoming atmosphere, and everybody's made friends. I mean, we moved in 8 years ago and certainly didn't expect that. And we have made some very, very good friends. So it's really been fantastic in every way. I think the management is very sensitive to the needs of the tenants, for one thing. They're very helpful, very agreeable if the tenants come up and say, you know, we want to do, for example, I'm there's a tenants association and I'm the person who's in charge of the social activities. So before COVID, I approached the property manager and said, you know, we would like to have a New Year's Eve party. And he said, what can I do to help? Before COVID. But that's an example of, you know, I approached the property manager and told him that a group had gotten together and wanted to have a New Year's Eve party. And he said, how can I help you? Anything I can do for you? Aside from the fact that the management hosts a Christmas party, a barbecue in the summertime. When you move in, you get a beautiful welcome basket. I mean, it's just a lovely, lovely atmosphere. It really is. Well, it's really like living in a resort. The only thing we're missing is an upscale restaurant where you could make reservations. But I mean, you've got activities, you've got exercises, you've got the pool, you've got the squash court, you've got golf, you've got a hot tub. So you can, I mean, some people don't do any of that. And then, of course, we have the Tenants Association, which runs activities. We have bingo, we have current events, we have trivia, we have a music night, we have movies. It goes on and on. So, I mean, not everybody comes to all of these things, of course, but if you want to be busy, you certainly can be. And then periodically we host special evenings, you know, where we bring in speakers and so forth and invite the tenants to come, and every single thing is free. You don't pay for anything. So it's really, it's very special. We have a convenience store. So if you run out of something, you can actually, if you're willing to, you know, make sort of a little order, I think it's a minimum of $20. They'll even deliver for you. So, I mean, what else can you really ask for? Also, the apartments are very, very large and well appointed. So when we moved from our house into the apartment, you don't feel claustrophobic. It's a very large apartment, ours in particular, and the way it's designed, the layout gives you an awful lot of how shall I say, breathing room. So that's another really good thing. So the move was absolutely seamless. We moved from a house, we gave up the responsibilities, we moved into a beautiful apartment, and we have all the amenities, all the facilities. So that's been fantastic. And the third thing, of course, is making new friends and being socially active. So well, unfortunately, my husband just died about 6 months ago, so that was not a good thing. But it was a good thing from the point of view that we sold our house when my husband started getting sick, and moving in here was amazing because we had no responsibility anymore. I could devote myself to his health care and not have to worry about being in a house and worrying about the roof leaking or the lawn being taken care of or whatever. So from that point, and not to forget, we made very, very good friends, close friends, whom we could count on and who were very supportive as he became quite ill. So I always think that if we had remained in our house, I would have been absolutely isolated there with no help, no support, no anything. So it's just been phenomenal. And really, when we moved in here, we had no idea. I mean, life happens. So, but you know what? I had somebody to be with me, not physically, but I had friends around me who, emailed me, who phoned me, who supported me, so it's unusual for you to make good friends later on in life. Generally, we make friends early in life and we keep them hopefully through our lives. In this particular case, we made these friends and they have been there. They haven't been acquaintances, they've really been friends, and they've really come through when things were tough. So that's something we wouldn't have had anywhere else, honestly. I think the people here, generally speaking, are very, very special. There's just a special atmosphere here, starting with the management, to the staff, to the tenants. It's just a very warm, nurturing atmosphere. I mean, people remark on the fact, well, before COVID, now it's sort of pulled back a little bit, but before COVID, you'd walk down the hall and people would talk to you, or people would say hello. You get in the elevator and people from outside in condos or whatever would remark, you must be talking about the Gates of Bayview, because it's just a very warm, friendly. Now, COVID has shut that down a great deal because, of course, you can only have one person in the elevator and people didn't want to walk in the halls and so forth and so on. But I'm hoping that once we get, past all this, that, that will come back again, because that is a real feature of this complex, the unique friendliness and kindness, for sure. Well, not having to worry about the upkeep of the house and dealing with, contractors and whatever, that's certainly, that was certainly a great load off my mind. Definitely. Well, because I've become very active here, being the social coordinator, whatever. So, I've had to organize all kinds of activities. I've had to make speeches. I've had to contact people. So, I think I've always been a reasonably outgoing person, but that's helped me to build on that, which I really enjoy. So I have a whole new career here, event planner. Don't even think twice. It's a fabulous, I highly recommend it. And in fact, I suggested it to two neighbors of mine when they were considering selling their houses and moving out. And I said, you should consider the Gates of Bayview. You won't be sorry. And they actually did move in, and they're very happy. First of all, you'll know when you're ready to go. And second of all, don't hang around and wait too long, because if you wait too long, then your children come into the equation and have to make those decisions for you. And you may end up in a place that you're not happy with and isn't your choice. So I think it's better to make that decision sooner rather than later, while you're in charge of, what your next step is going to be. I would not do anything differently. I would do exactly what we did before. The move was very smooth. We were very happy with every single aspect of the way, the way we were treated, the way we were allowed into the apartment, I think 2 weeks before, so that we could sort of get settled. They painted for us, the whole thing. Everything went absolutely perfectly. There's nothing I would change, nothing I would do differently. Actually, we lived in the area, very, very close by, and we used to drive up and down Bayview in order to get to our house. And we always saw the sign, Gates of Bayview, and my husband and I had a joke saying that one day when we sell our house, that's where we're going to move. We had never even been here or heard anything about it. And so when we did put our house up for sale, the first thing we did was we called and made an appointment, and we were very, very happy. We only looked at one other complex, actually, but I think we sort of had our minds made up in advance, and I can't really give you a better reason, but that's actually how it did happen. It's kind of always in the back of our mind that one day we would live here, and here we are. Yeah, well, the thing that made us consider it really was the fact that my husband's health was failing. I thought we'd be better off in a place where we didn't have responsibility for the building and the upkeep and all of that stuff, that we could just concentrate on his health issues. And that's what, if he had remained healthy and so forth, we might not have moved. But then again, on the other hand, we might have moved because we did a lot of traveling, and the idea was that we didn't want to have to worry about the house when we were away and so forth and so on. So we probably would have moved it anyway. I mean, if we were going to move, we would have moved here, definitely. We were always going to come to the Gates of Bayview. If my husband had not become ill, if his health had not deteriorated, we probably would have moved a little later rather than maybe 6 years ago as opposed to 8 years ago. But when we saw that his health was declining, we figured, let's get ourselves relocated now, while we can think about it and do it and so forth, rather than wait until, he's too ill to accomplish that. Well, I don't think it's fair to say that anything stood out. I think it was the location, really. We wanted to be basically in the same area that we had been in for over 30 years. And the complex looked very nice from the outside. I mean, we hadn't seen it, of course, and it was just convenient. And I don't know, we just had it in our minds that we were coming here. I can't give you a good answer, really. It was great because we hired a company, I don't think they exist any longer, unfortunately, called Redcoats. And what they specialized in was they move seniors. So they do every single thing. They come in, they pack for you, then they unpack for you, down to the fact that they told us what to leave out the morning of the move, so that you could have breakfast. By the time they left at the end of the day, the bed was made, the clothes were hung up in the cupboard, the dishes were in the kitchen, the food was in the refrigerator. It was a miracle. And really, we didn't have to do anything. I mean, I wanted to be involved, and so I helped, direct this, that, I want the dishes here or there or whatever. But honest and truly, they didn't need me. Not only that, but one of the people on the staff was an interior designer, and she came in advance, looked at the apartment, and helped us place the furniture so that we would know what to take and what not to take, because obviously we were downsizing. So it was an absolutely seamless move. It was fantastic, but we were extremely pleased, and we recommended them to everybody. They were just amazing. In fact, now that I think about it, they even came back afterwards and connected up our Wi-Fi and hung our pictures, and it went on and on. Well, first of all, they gave us a welcome basket, which was unexpected and wonderful. And it wasn't just goodies, it was also like cleaning stuff and really stuff that, you could really use. So that was one. And two, they let us get into the apartment ahead of time. They allowed us to meet with the interior designer beforehand in the library downstairs. And then we could come up to the apartment, and she actually put paper on the walls showing where the furniture would go in each room, so that the movers wouldn't have to ask us anything. They knew exactly the furniture goes here. The furniture. It was fabulous. Nothing at all. Maybe I would have moved earlier if I'd known how wonderful it was. You know, you don't have to worry about the roof that's leaking, or or calling the guy to, why haven't you come here? We just had a storm. Why haven't you shoveled the snow? And so, that kind of thing. All the stuff that goes along with home maintenance, really. It was such a joy not to have to worry about that any longer, even though at that point we weren't cutting the lawn or mowing or shoveling the snow or whatever. But nevertheless, I mean, it's still your responsibility. So to move here and not to have to worry. And if something goes wrong, I mean, if I had trouble with the dishwasher in the beginning, and I called up and they said, no problem, and gave me another one. I am absolutely beyond thrilled, really I am. And now being alone, I mean, it's even better, because I got to tell you, if I was still in my house, I would be terrified out of my wits, with the sliding glass doors off the patio. Every sound that you would hear, I'd be sure that somebody was breaking in. So this is just, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, I feel supported. It's all good. Now, it would be better, of course, if my husband was here too. That's the only downside on the thing, but I mean, that's not the fault of the Gates of Bayview, for sure.
For more information about this community, you can visit their profile at comfortlife.ca.